Hello everybody, it is I, U2Cool, back again, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Race and Rescue Cal Weathers, or Race Rally 200 I should say, since he's a racer, not a rescuer. I'm really excited for this item for a couple of reasons. First, it's a new Cal Weathers variant. I've only ever had just regular Cal, well, technically Hank Weathers. Yeah, I got him back when he came out in a 2-pack with Bobby Swift, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I've been wanting a new Cal Weathers variant. He has a couple of variants. He has a metallic variant, a couple expanded universe ones. This is the most recent one, and this one's really interesting because Cal Weathers himself hasn't been out since like 2022. He's been gone for 3 years, and it kind of shows. His Thailand variant specifically is pretty expensive, at least in box. I found a couple loose listings for him, but he's a little damaged. I might still try and go for it if they don't bring him back soon. But I'm sure they'll consider it because alongside Speedy Comet, this guy is also our only Cars 3 stock car representation at the current moment. A lot of people have been begging Mattel to give us Cars 3 stock cars again because, their absence was really annoying to some collectors because obviously they're just as desirable as any other Piston Cup racer, whether it be Cars 1 or Next Gen. So it's nice that it seems that Mattel is willing to acknowledge that the Cars 3 stock cars exist. I always had the theory that they didn't, just because the Cars 1 racers and Cars 3 stock cars can get really similar sometimes, so they thought it was just better from a marketing perspective to just do the Cars 1 ones, but clearly that hasn't been working out since I'm sure anyone else in the Cars community can tell you that the Cars 1 stock cars have just been like rotting on shelves. When I went to Target today, I looked behind his case. I think it was a full case Z. That's where this guy appeared. And I just still saw the remnants of like previous Piston Cup racers, except I couldn't even tell because they keep putting the same few ones. I think that's the biggest issue with 2025. I've complained to several other people. I've gone on about this because I don't think anyone talks about this being a specific issue, but this is something that sticks out to me personally about 2025. I really don't get what was up with the distribution of the cars in the waves. It's really weird how many waves were just like 1/3 Piston Cup racers. I didn't mean to start out this review so negative. I just really need to get that out there because nobody else seems to really share the issue aside from a few people, and I really hope 2026 doesn't have this issue because quite frankly, that really ruined collecting for me this year, which is a shame because 2025 had some really good items. A lot of cars I didn't have were re-released, but barely any of them I saw because most of the time, all I would see instead was like Floyd Mulvihill for some reason. Just Floyd Mulvihill. All right, back to positives. Cal Weathers is a really fun character. I really like him, and I'm really excited to see what they do with him. He has the new for 2025 snipe on the side, the card style that reminds me a lot of 2015 to 17, before this guy came out. Got the logo over there, Pixar cars on the top. Just want to take a second to appreciate that card art. Feel free to screenshot. He's a bit of a darker blue. I think I've heard some people say that. I have a Thailand the King out. He's not Cal Weathers, obviously, but he's Dynaco blue, so I thought it'd be interesting to sort of compare him to this. See whether or not this is just what Thailand Cal looks like or no. Got a bunch edited. Honestly, these edits are pretty clean. Makes sense, these are professional. Ironic because of the whole Masha Elswrench situation that happened this year where her Photoshop was just so bad. 42 on the card back there. I made a GRC Cal. It wasn't similar to this at all, but I feel like the race and rescue cars are similar enough to the GRC cars to where you could slot them in and it wouldn't really be all that weird. What's funny is I actually found Race and Rescue Cruz. I think I mentioned that in my Eugene Carbureski video that I found Cruz at the same time. Didn't pick her up though because I'm waiting for that D&D 2-pack. Over on the back, All right, time to get negative again. I don't think I'm going to see Case Y. That's the case with Sally, Jeff, and Morgan here, which is a real shame because I was really excited for Morgan. He's easily one of the most interesting items. Jeff, too, since he's infamously not in the GRC line, so it's pretty cool that they made a Jeff in some capacity in recent times. There's also Kathy Copter, who I also picked up at the same time. And Jackson Storm, who I didn't pick up this year, but I probably have another chance to next year if I go for him. I don't know if I will. Could be interesting. On the back, the copyright date actually does say 2024 because this cardback style debuted in 2025. That's pretty nice. We haven't seen that. Made in Thailand. I didn't mention this with Eugene Karbarisky, but he's one of the last. He's actually the last new Thailand variant ever made. Ever since Eugene, there have been no more new Thailand variants. And now, Cal Weathers and Kathy Copter mark the last diecasts made in Thailand, period. At least so far, it seems. That's kind of an enormous deal. Something else I was going to point out. What was it? I'll probably remember another time. All right, let's get this guy out of the box. All right, here's Cal out of the box. He looks really good. Sadly, the card back there is a little damaged. I tried to open it as cleanly as I could, but oh well. Here he is, Cal Weathers, looking beautiful. First thing I'm noticing is that his grill is a lot more defined. I think that's just Thailand's printing. It just makes it all look much more defined. His eyes are a bit different. I believe they're the same as Thailand Cal's. As you can see on the original China diecast, they're a bit further apart, and his eyes are a bit broader. Both reflect Cal's character. I think I prefer this one, the Thailand one. This one just looks a little dopey, you know. But it's fine. It's fine. It still holds up. Really happy to have Cal. All right, so let's start off with the hood here. The Dynaco logo has been replaced with the Radiator Springs Rally Race logo. Pretty standard. Got the 42 underneath. Some people have said he looks more like Ralph Carlo than Cal Weathers, which is really funny, but also kind of true because the red wheels. It's really interesting. Radiator Springs Rally Race 200. 42. The main gimmick with the rally race cars is that their accent color is the sort of light gray or silver. It's meant to be silver, but they don't actually color them silver, so that's a shame because Thailand can do it, and they have on Jackson Storm. I don't know why they can't do that on the other racers, at least not the wheels. It's whatever. So yeah, he replaces dark blue. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like Coke Zero or Pepsi Free. You guys remember that? It's like that, or like Crystal Pepsi. I think this guy looks like Crystal Pepsi. It's a little late, so a bit unhinged at the moment. He has the Dynaco text in red, pretty standard. Rally Race logo where the secondary sponsors would be. Good. I really don't feel like reading out the secondary sponsors. There's the camera. It's a little weird. I think the China camera looked better. Also bigger. He has just a gray on the back. Hold on, this is the original Cal. Yeah, he's supposed to have a 42. Is mine? I don't know if mine's an error. I haven't watched a video. I generally tend not to watch reviews before I review something because I don't want, what someone else said to influence my opinion. I try to just give my raw thoughts. That's sort of why I make my reviews the way they are. They're very unscripted. I want raw, just first reaction to these diecasts. I think that's really important. Just the first impression is really important, and I really want to show that on camera. So yeah, Cal Weathers just overall looks really solid. Here's a look at the base. Made in Thailand. I'm still trying to figure out what I was trying to say earlier. I think I was gonna go on a tangent about how like it's kind of trippy to think that this is it. This is the end for Thailand, or not the end, but I'm sure they'll come back soon. But all right, before I compare him to the other rally race cars, quickly gonna compare him to the King color scheme wise. They look to be rather similar. Okay, yeah, definitely at the front they look to be very similar. You know, this cowl from the top does look pretty similar to the original cowl. Yeah, you can definitely yeah, in person the original cowl is definitely a much paler blue. I don't know if that's just my original copy being very faded because he's been around for years. His sheen is starting to wear off, but yeah, he's much more similar in color to the King, which makes sense. They're both made in Thailand and they're the same, supposed to be the same shade of blue. All right, now that the King has been compared, time to bust out. I'm gonna compare him to Chick first because this is a really funny. We never see these two in like together on screen at the same time. Although Chick is there at the scene where Cal leaves in the movie. What's really funny about this is the fact that you know, Race Rally Chick is based on the Cars 3 Chick, of course. So kind of funny seeing two cars. Technically, all of these cars are based around Cars 3. All the ones I own are entirely based on Cars 3. I guess Jeff is too, because like Jeff was in Cars 3. That just reminded me that Cars 3 Jeff is coming back next year. That's like really insane. Cars Diecast line will never run out of re-releases. There are just so many cars. So yeah, anyways, Cal Weathers. Chick's the only one not to have the Rally Race logo on his hood, which is just so in character. I think McQueen is probably the better comparison, honestly. Although because Chick and Cal's like spoilers are so small, the Rally Race logo is just in front of the spoiler. There's Cal over there. I think I was going to bring up Metallic Cal, because Metallic Cal has eyes more similar to the original Cal, where they're a bit smaller. Yeah, Queen. I just realized they have the exact same colored wheels. Yeah, because Chick has blue wheels in the front, not red, which makes sense because that fits his color scheme better. Good comeback, Cal. So yeah, overall, Cal is really nice, and I'm really happy to own him. I'm really hoping to get more variants of Cal at some point. I really do want to get Metallic Cal. He looks really good. All right, blue is one of my favorite colors, and it's really nice just to have like a nice chrome blue metallic car. It's going to be super sick. I hope I get him at some point. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say for tonight. Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything else to mention. So yeah. Hope you all enjoyed the review, and I shall see you all around. Bye-bye.